On posterior margin of tongue, they are said to be as the circumvallate papillae, they are largest. Again, they are C in shape. Second type, the papillae which are present, which are mushroom shape, which are appears on anterior margins of tongue, are said to be as the fungiform. These are the fungiform papillae. Again, on entire surface of the tongue, this foliate papillae are only appears in the case of the children, they are not appears in the case of the adult. They are rudimentary in adults. Again, this foliate papillae are appears on lateral side of 1/3 posterior part of the tongue only in the children. They are not appears in the adult. They may be rudimentary in the case of the adult person. Among these 4 type of the papillae, this filiform papillae are without taste buds. Taste buds are absent on the filiform papillae. Among these 4 type of the papillae, smallest one are the filiform papillae. Largest one is said to be as the circumvallate papillae. Again, this tongue is principally useful for mastication of the food material. It's also useful for the deglutition, that is the swallowing. This is also useful for the tasting of the food material. This is also useful for the clarity speech also. Again, in the tongue of the person, what kind of the muscles are present means voluntary muscles. Principally 2 type of the muscles are present. One is the extrinsic muscle, second one is said to be as the intrinsic muscle. Extrinsic muscles are useful for the movement of the tongue. Intrinsic muscles are useful for the change of the shape of the tongue, means for clarity speech, for movement of the tongue. Definitely extrinsic muscles a lot useful, means extrinsic muscles are useful for the movement of the tongue. Intrinsic muscles are useful for the change of the altering of the tongue movement, or shape of the tongue is gets changed with the help of the intrinsic muscles here. Again, oral cavities gets opens into pharynx. In the alimentary canal of the human, this oral cavity is gets opens into common chamber, that is said to be as the pharynx. This is said to be as the pharynx here. This is the pharynx. Oral cavities gets opens into pharynx. Pharynx is a common chamber. This is the common passage for both food and air. Definitely, through the oral cavity, food is pushed into the pharynx. Again, through the nasal chambers, air also reaches into the pharynx. Just assume this is the oral cavity, this is the nasal chambers. Nasal chambers finally opens into the pharynx through one pair of internal nostrils. Nasal chambers opens into the pharynx through internal nostril. So that only air passes through the pharynx, as well as the food is also passes through the pharynx. So that only pharynx is said to be as the common passage for both food and air. Again, this pharynx gets divided into three distinct portions depending upon the position of uvula. Depending upon the position of uvula nothing but posterior part of the soft palate. Posterior part of the soft palate is hangs down into the pharynx as the arch. That is said to be as the uvula. Depending upon the uvula position, this pharynx gets divided into three distinct portions. Of that, pharynx which is present above to the uvula is said to be as the nasopharynx. That is said to be as the nasopharynx. The part of the pharynx which is present above to the uvula is said to be as the nasopharynx. The part of the pharynx which is present below to the uvula is said to be as the oropharynx. Again, pharynx which is present below to the both nasopharynx and oropharynx, above to the larynx is said to be as the laryngopharynx. This is said to be as the laryngopharynx. Depending upon the uvula position, pharynx is principally categorized divides into three distinct regions. Part of the pharynx which is present above to the uvula is the nasopharynx. Through the nasopharynx only air gets passes. Below to that kind of the uvula, whatever the pharyngeal part which is present, that is said to be as the oropharynx. Through that food gets pushed into the pharynx, or through the oropharynx food gets passes. Among the three pharyngeal regions, particularly, again if we can observe, what is the common passage for both air and food material means, that is the laryngopharynx. Because through the laryngopharynx air as well as the food gets passes. Overall, though we can say pharynx is the common passage for food and air, but particularly when we observe the three distinct portions of the pharynx, among these three distinct portions, again the common passage for food and air is nothing but laryngopharynx is the common passage for food and air. Because through the nasopharynx only air gets passes, through the oropharynx only food gets passes. Finally, this food and air must be passes through the laryngopharynx. So that only originally this is the common passage for food and air. Again, laryngopharynx gets opens into trachea as well as into esophagus. Definitely, this esophagus is present dorsal to trachea. In our body, this is the dorsal, this is the ventral. This is the ventral portion, this is the dorsal portion. So this portion is said to be as the trachea, means that is the ventral part. Definitely in our body, just assume this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. Means this is the dorsal portion, this is the ventral portion. Means always trachea is lie ventral to. Again, laryngopharynx is opens into esophagus dorsally and into trachea ventrally. Means this is the dorsal portion. Dorsal portion means towards the neck. This is the trachea, that is towards the ventral. Means in our body, just assume this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. Means in our body, this is the ventral, this is the dorsal. So that only this visible portion, this ventral portion is said to be as the trachea. Above to the trachea, esophagus is present. Means esophagus is always dorsal to the trachea. Trachea is always ventral to esophagus. Again, this laryngopharynx is opens into the esophagus through a opening. This opening is said to be as the gullet. That opening is said to be as the gullet. Again, laryngopharynx is gets opens into the trachea, specifically into larynx through a opening that is said to be as the glottis. Anterior part of the trachea is said to be as the larynx. This is the larynx here. This laryngopharynx is gets opens into larynx through a opening. That opening is said to be as the glottis. Laryngopharynx is gets opens into esophagus through a opening that is said to be as the gullet. Again, this glottis is gets covered with a lid that is said to be as the epiglottis. This is made up of with elastic cartilage. Epiglottis is made up of with elastic cartilage. Similarly, gullet is also covered with a sphincter, that is the supraesophageal sphincter. Means this gullet opening is covered with a sphincter. Sphincter nothing but circular muscle is said to be as the sphincter. Circular muscle which is present around to the opening is said to be as the sphincter. Specifically around to the gullet, whatever the sphincter which is present, that is said to be as the supraesophageal sphincter. Supraesophageal sphincter is made up of with skeletal muscle. This is made up of with skeletal muscle. So that only it is voluntary. It is voluntary means this sphincter works with the conscience of a person. This sphincter works with the willing of a person. So that only this kind of the sphincter is said to be as the voluntary sphincter. Supraesophageal sphincter always regulate amount of the food material which maybe gets passes into esophagus, and it always prevent reverse flow of the food from the esophagus into laryngopharynx. Only it allows the flow of the food from the laryngopharynx into the esophagus. It prevents the reverse flow of the food from the esophagus into laryngopharynx. Again, what is the use of the epiglottis means? Epiglottis prevent entry of the food and water into the trachea during the deglutition, during the swallowing of the food material. To prevent the entry of the food and water into the trachea during the deglutition, this epiglottis is principally useful, means that that closes the glottis during the swallowing to prevent the food and water entry into the trachea. Again, when we observe the esophagus, just assume this is the thin-walled esophagus. This is the esophagus. Again, esophagus is passes through neck and thoracic region and through the abdomen. Finally, that maybe gets opens into the J-shaped sac. That kind of the J-shaped sac is said to be as the stomach. This is the stomach here. Principally esophagus which is present, that is with the thin wall. Again, that is the long tube. So that only that is said to be as the food pipe. This is also called as the food pipe. Why we say it is the food pipe means, this esophagus is only useful for passing of the food material. That's only useful for getting the passing of the food material towards the stomach. In esophagus, digestion may not be taken place. Esophagus do not have any digestive role. Only that is useful for getting the passing of the food material into the stomach only. Again, anterior wall of the esophagus is made up of with skeletal muscle. Posterior part of the esophagus wall is made up of with smooth muscle. Means this is the only one part of the alimentary canal which is with both the smooth muscles as well as skeletal muscle. Anterior part of the esophagus is with the skeletal muscle. Posterior part of the esophagus is with the smooth muscle. Means it is the only one part of alimentary canal which is with both the smooth muscle and skeletal muscle. Again, esophagus is finally opens into the stomach through a opening. Again, that opening is guarded with a sphincter. That sphincter is said to be as the gastroesophageal sphincter. This is said to be as the gastroesophageal sphincter, or this is also called as cardiac sphincter. This is said to be as the cardiac sphincter or gastroesophageal sphincter. This sphincter is made up of with the smooth muscle. This sphincter is made up of with the smooth muscle. So that only this is the involuntary. Means this kind of the sphincter may not be works with our conscious. It may not be works with our willing. So that only that is said to be as the involuntary. Supraesophageal sphincter which is present at the beginning of the esophagus is voluntary because that is made up of with those skeletal muscle. But gastroesophageal sphincter or the cardiac sphincter is made up of with the smooth muscle that may not be works with our conscious. So that only that is said to be as the involuntary. Next to stomach which is present, this is the J-shaped sac. This is the J-shaped sac which is present in the abdomen in left side just below to the diaphragm. Just assume this is said to be as the diaphragm. This is the diaphragm. What is the diaphragm? last part of the small intestine, which is with a highly coiled head, that is said to be as the ileum. Again, ileum gets opens into first part of large intestine through a opening that is said to be as the cecum. First part of large intestine is said to be as the cecum. Last part of the small intestine, that is the ileum, gets opens into the first part of the large intestine, that is cecum, through a opening. That opening is also again guarded with a sphincter and valve. That is the ileocecal sphincter and ileocecal valve. Ileocecal valve, ileocecal sphincter. This is the only one opening which is guarded with both sphincter and valve. Rest of all kind of the openings are only guarded with sphincters but not with the valve. This is the only opening, this is the only one opening which is guarded with both the sphincter as well as the valve. Then what is the difference between the sphincter and the valve? What is the difference between the sphincter and the valve means, circular muscle, if it is covers the opening, then we can say that is the sphincter. Instead of that, a plate-like muscle, if it is present, instead of circular, if this muscle is plate-like, then that is said to be as the valve. Circular muscle, if it encloses the opening, that is the sphincter. Instead of that, if the plate-like muscle covers that kind of the opening, then we can say that is the valve. Ileocecal sphincter, ileocecal valves, both of them guard this opening which is present between the ileum and cecum. Again, the first part of the large intestine is said to be as the cecum. This cecum is blind sac. Blind sac means in one side that is opens into the colon, in another side that is completely gets closed. If it is look like as the test tube, if it is with one opening to open into the next part, another side if it is completely gets closes, then we can say that is the blind sac. Again, from the posterior part of the cecum, the finger-like structure which is gets arises. This is said to be as the appendix, or this is also called as the vermiform appendix, or this is also called as abdominal tonsil. This is also called as the abdominal tonsil. From the posterior side of the cecum, whatever the finger-like projection which is gets projected to the out, that is said to be as the appendix or the vermiform appendix or the abdominal tonsil. This appendix, though it is fully in developed state, that may not perform any type of the function in our body, so that only we can say that is the vestigial organ. In our body, appendix, though it is fully in developed state, that may not be useful for cellulose digestion, that may not perform any kind of the function in our body, so that only we can say that is the vestigial. But in the case of the herbivorous individual, that is principally useful for the cellulose digestion, but in our body that may not perform any type of the function, so that only that is said to be as the vestigial organ. But recent researchers reveals us that this appendix has the lymphatic tissue, that lymphatic tissue principally useful to detoxify the toxins which may be releases from the E. coli bacteria of cecum. In cecum, E. coli bacteria are present. They are also called as the symbiotic bacteria. That kind of the symbiotic bacteria of the cecum principally useful for secretion of the vitamin K. Means that kind of the E. coli bacteria by secreting vitamin K, they may be a lot helpful to our body. So that only they are said to be as the symbiotic bacteria. But in few cases they may be also secrete the toxin. That kind of the toxins are detoxified by the vermiform appendix or lymphatic tissue which is present in the appendix, are principally useful for the detoxification of the toxins which may be released from the E. coli bacteria. Again, due to any reason, if this appendix shows the swelling, that is nothing but inflammation. Immense swelling, severe swelling of appendix if it is occurs, then that is said to be as the inflammation. Inflammation of appendix is said to be as the appendicitis. That is said to be as the appendicitis. Unwanted material if it is entered into the appendix, or due to any reason if the infection is occurs to the appendix, whatever the reason may be, by that if this appendix is shows the immense swelling, then that condition is said to be as the appendicitis. Then what is the treatment for that kind of the appendicitis? Means surgical removal of appendix is treatment for that kind of the appendicitis. Surgical removal of appendix is said to be as the appendectomy. Surgical removal of inflamed appendix is said to be as the appendectomy. That is the only one solution for that kind of the appendicitis. Later, second part which is present in large intestine, second part which is present in the large intestine is said to be as the colon. Just assume this is the cecum here. Again this is the vermiform appendix. Again this is the second part of the large intestine, that is said to be as the colon. Again colon has the 4 distinct lobes of them. This is said to be as the ascending limb. This is the ascending limb. Again this is the transverse limb. This is the transverse limb. Again this is the descending limb. Finally that descending limb gets opens into a limb that is said to be as the sigmoid limb. This is said to be as the sigmoid limb. Means the second part of the large intestine is said to be as the colon. In the colon again 4 limbs are present. One is the ascending, second transverse, third descending limb, fourth one is the sigmoid limb. Again this sigmoid limb is opens into the last part of large intestine, that is said to be as the rectum. This is the rectum here. Means definitely this large intestine sigmoid limb is directly gets opens into the rectum, but not the descending limb. Again in colon, whatever the bulges which are appears, outgrowths which are appears in all 4 In the wall of the colon, 3 rows of longitudinal muscles are present. 3 rows of 3 rows of longitudinal muscles are present. That 3 rows of longitudinal muscles are said to be as the tinea coli. 3 rows of longitudinal muscles which are present along the length of colon, that 3 rows of longitudinal muscles are said to be as the tinea coli. Again, rectum gets opens into anal canal. This is said to be as the anal canal. Again, anal canal is opens to the out through the anus. This anus is guarded with the 2 sphincters. One is the internal anal sphincter. This is the internal anal sphincter. This is made up of with the smooth muscle. So that only this is the involuntary, means it may not works with our conscious. Anal canal is opens to the out through the anus. That is guarded with the 2 sphincters. One is the internal anal sphincter. Second one is the external anal sphincter. Internal anal sphincter is made up of with the smooth muscle. So that only that may not be works with our conscious. So that only that is involuntary. Second sphincter is the external anal sphincter. This is the external anal sphincter. External anal sphincter is made up of with the skeletal muscle. That is made up of with the skeletal muscle. So that is the voluntary. Any type of the sphincter, if it is made up of with the skeletal muscle, definitely that works with our conscious. So that only that is the voluntary. But here internal anal sphincter is made up of with the smooth muscle. So that only that may not be works with our conscious. So that only that is the involuntary. Finally, rectum gets opens to the out through the anus. Then what are the functions of rectum means? Rectum do not have any digestive role, but it can perform 3 important functions. What are they means? It is useful for reabsorption of water from the undigested food material. So what are the functions of rectum? Means rectum do not have any digestive role, but it is useful for reabsorption of water from the undigested food. It is useful for absorption of the essential material from the undigested food, essential minerals which may be present in the undigested food. It is useful for the secretion of the mucus, for getting the formation of the feces. Means what are the principal functions of rectum? What are the principal functions of rectum means? Functions of rectum are reabsorption of water from undigested food. Wherever that kind of the rectum is present, whether it is present in the human, whether it is present in the cockroach, whether it is present in the earthworm, wherever the rectum is present, whose principal function is reabsorption of the water. Second one is the absorption of minerals. Third one is the formation of feces by secretion of the mucus. Means the rectal walls secrete the mucus. That mucus is helpful for the lubrication of the feces and also for adhering or attachment of undigested food material one with another to get form feces. This kind of the rectum is principally useful. Definitely that is useful for reabsorption of water, that is useful for the absorption of the mineral, that is useful for the formation of the feces. Again, overallly the important NCERT objective question is that, the important NEET question is that, what are the sequence of the sphincters which may be present in the human alimentary canal? How many number of these sphincters are totally present in the human alimentary canal are the important NEET questions. The first NEET question is that of this entire alimentary canal concept, the first important NEET question is that what are the sequence, what are the sphincters which are present in a sequence from the esophagus to the anus, and totally how many number of these sphincters are associated to the alimentary canal of human means. First one is that sequence of sphincters in alimentary canal from anterior to posterior.